it's Carla with Bound to Be Vintage, and I'm glad you've joined me today for another thrift haul. I picked up some things from a couple of flea markets, mostly one flea market. The other one was very small, but I did get this Greetings of the Season, a little promotional calendar, and from 1944, as you can see. And I love the color green, and then the graphics on here are a lot of fun. You've got the months birthstone and flower, phases of the moon, and then little pieces of art around certain holidays. So I thought these would be interesting to use in a collage or just to tuck a page in a pocket or tuck spot. Now at my other flea market was where I scored all the rest of this stuff. There is a vendor who has great paper, there's a vendor who has great craft supplies, and then I found another vendor that seemed to be new to this last flea market that had all kinds of different items I was interested in. So let me show you what I got. The first thing is this publication cover, I would assume. It's called Good Stories. You can see it's from Augusta, Maine. I like anything from Maine because my parents were from there. And it's from November of 1938. And I like the illustration and the two colors. You can see it has some condition issues, but that's kind of what we get with the old paper that we love, isn't it? So I picked that up, and I think the paper that I'll show you from this flea market, I had a little bundle of things I put together, and that was $5 for the whole bundle. So also in the paper, I got these little coupons. I thought the colors were good for fall. They're actually from a tobacco company. I may save these for the masculine journal I want to make from the wool swatch book that I showed in one of my earlier videos. I got 4 of these. And then there were all of these little old label books. You can see they still have price tags. In this case, it was from Goodwill. Some of the other ones have actual businesses. These were in kind of this turquoise color. And these are the parcel labels that you would stick on a package. This one was all completely glued together into one block. So I soaked it in a little container of warm water, and they peeled apart pretty nicely. And then I just let it dry all fanned out. I like the graphic look of that one. And there was one more, Herald Square. You can see it was originally 29 cents. And these are a nice bright blue. And I like these because I very much like postal items. Cancellation stamps, old postal locations or zip code stamps. I like making faux mail. And I'll show you what I did with a similar label to these. Someone had given me a orange and green parcel post label in some mail. I believe it was for something I ordered. It was an extra goodie. And in the Autumn Seamstress Journal that I'm still trying to get completed, but you know, life. My fall was busier than usual with a couple of trips back east and a couple of cataract surgeries. So I'm behind. But I made like a faux package on this spread. It goes like that. Has this little acorn envelope that tucks into it. But you can see I used one of those parcel post labels. I've left it blank. You could, if you had them, you could fill them in. I have a large oversized stamp. That was from Junk Journal Studio, I believe. I think that was a freebie. One of my old postage stamps and a more recent postal cancellation stamp. And I've just tied it up with some twine. And that's my faux postage tuck spot. From that same vendor, I got this Sew and Stitch needlebook case. I like the graphics on this. It's in great condition. Still has lots of needles in it, so I'm going to be careful with it. I like the embossed foil papers in there too. Then you have the same image on the back, and I believe what was probably the price tag. And then last I got these Wurlitzer Music Fun cards. And these will make good journaling cards. They have the music notation on the front where you're supposed to fill in the answers, and then the answers printed on the back. And they have different graphics. Here you have a keyboard with the red. I think that would be great for a Christmas journal. Just decoupage some things on there, collage. So she had $3 on this, but it was part of my $5 stash, so it didn't turn out to be a full dollar for each item. Then I found this book for $1, the Better Homes and Gardens Sewing Book, and I believe it's from 1961. And there are just some wonderful images in here. Let me get it here where you can see it. Photographs, but also a lot of these little illustrations. Love the look of those. Those would be great to use in a sewing journal. The colors aren't quite right for the most part for the journal I'm working on now. The yellow would probably work, but a lot of the other colors are not in the particular palette that I'm using. But I wanted to show you also there are some really cute illustrations like this with photos of actual trimmer fabric. And there are a number of those. Just really cute. Love those. So I thought this was a great find. I'd never seen this book before. I've seen a lot of people hauling these great old sewing books. So I was really happy to find this one. And for $1, I thought that was a great price. Now another vendor that I like has a lot of craft supplies. If you saw my last video that was a Christmas haul, I showed some things that I got from her. But I did pick up this Anna Griffin embossing folder and this pretty floral. I like this motif in here. And this is for an extended platform. And I do have an extended platform for my Big Kick. And I like this because I always feel like the size of embossed papers is so limiting. So I like that there's this longer one that I could do some things with. So this was just $2. When I go back this month, actually this weekend, I'm anxious to see if she's there and take a closer look at what else she has, because it was overwhelming. It was quite a bit. I also picked up from her this ephemera pack. I'm guessing that this is Anna Griffin. I don't know for sure. But I also got a lot of Anna Griffin papers from her, and it looks like it would coordinate with the papers. So this is kind of a patriotic pack. And I'll just show you what's in it real quick. Some borders. Got the Statue of Liberty. I think that's a harmonica. More little ephemera cards. Some die cuts. This reminds me of some Anna Griffin packs that I've had. Excuse me, on other topics. I think this pack was $2, and I know it would be a lot more than that in a store. Horseshoe. So for a patriotic themed journal, have all kinds of die cuts to use. And then she had a box that said $10 for the whole box, and it was just filled with all this paper. So I'll give you a quick look at it, but I'm not going to go through each and everything because it's a lot. But this first caught my eye. It's the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, and you know how we all love that. Apparently this came in the magazine, I think, Card Making. It was probably a little freebie. But it's some small sheets of some florals, and they're just nice florals. And I do have a flip-flap journal that I put away for a while to go to more seasonal items that has kind of a Jane Austen type feel. And I think some of these will be great in that as I make pockets and things like that. These papers also kind of had that country garden kind of feel. Let's see if I can do this so you can see them. They're one-sided here. There's some pretty little prints in here. And then a few little cutout kind of label things. Then these are all the Anna Griffin patriotic papers. If I do a 4th of July journal, patriotic journal again this summer, I've done one before and enjoyed it. I like working in this color palette. I love 4th of July. It is my favorite holiday, which I know is weird. All you Christmas lovers probably wonder what's going on with me, that 4th of July would be my favorite, but it just is. I love summer and fireworks. That's bright with the foiling. So a ton of these red, white, and blue ones. And then we get into just a variety of other ones. And for $10, I thought this was really good. Kind of do a quick flip through. Like I said, lots of patriotic red, white, and blue stuff in this. But there were some other things. Here's a Christmas wrap with a dog theme, some ombre tissue paper, some metallic paper. Got more of the red, white, and blue. And it goes on. Some paper that looks like cork. And I have already used some of the papers that were not 4th of July. Like this one I used in my fall journal, and a page that I'll show you in a second. So that I thought was just a great stack of papers at a great price. So I also picked up some stamps. I thought this one was interesting. It's one of those cube stamps. And these are the faces that you stamp. think that was $3. And let me see if I can tell you who that is. Diva Dollface Cube Postmodern Design, in case that one interests you to be on the lookout for. I found this one of a ticket that was 25 cents. And that doesn't have any kind of label on it. So I can make my own tickets. And then there was this very large paisley. And I like paisleys a lot. No name in it. Almost looks like somebody mounted it themselves, the way this wood looks with the rough edge. And I think this was maybe $1. I got some sewing goodies. I couldn't resist this little shoe pin cushion. I'm not sure what it's made out of. It's a papery-like material, but it's been embossed with the rose. This is all embossed. And I will replace this little piece of sponge that they've stuck in there with the pin. I think they were just trying to show that you could use it as a pin cushion. And I will use some batting and material or something and make that look a little better. But I'm forever leaving a pin on my desk and losing it, so I thought this might be nice to keep on my desk. I got a couple of blank button cards, and these are from Muscatine, Iowa. And a trip to there is on my bucket list because they have a mother of pearl museum. It was a huge industry there back in the day. They had the river right there, and they would get out the shells and punch them with the machine that made the buttons. And they have a whole museum dedicated to that. So I was excited to have these two. And I think I will probably scan them. I may use the originals, but I think I'll scan them so I have them for future projects. And one was $0.25 and one was $1. So the pricing was kind of all over the place. And then for a couple bucks, I picked up this little baggie of sewing goodies. Not everything in here interested me, but some of it did. And let me be careful here because, again, there are needles. So this is an old little needle case. I think that would look great in a journal. And it unfolds. Oop. Trying to be careful here, and I'm dropping it. And if the needles are not rusty, you can always use the needles too. And just use the packaging in your journal. So that just all folds up. John English and Company from England. This is a War Pack, Embroidery 7, Kirby Beard. Again, made in England. The Scientific Needle for Rapid and Easy Work. And they are on a little piece of fabric. The needles look to be in pretty good condition. They don't seem to be too tarnished. Another needle book, H. Millward and Sons, also from England. These are large yarn needles. Another one of those little paper packets. Oh, those are large. They're caught. And then some snaps, which I wasn't particularly interested in, although the packaging's pretty nice. Then we have the National Bank of Waterloo, just a little sewing kit. And what really interested me was these 3 initial tapes. Like you see the French Laundry. Caches 2 dozen for 10 cents originally. It says mark all your clothing, linens, etc. And they're all P's. I would have liked some other initials, but that's okay. Glad to have them. You can see it's just that ribbon that you cut apart with the little initial on there. And then I also picked up 3 pieces of letterpress type. If you've watched my videos, you know that I've made a little proofing press for myself, and I can print different pieces of letterpress type and letterpress cuts and all of that. So these were 3 for $1, so I couldn't resist. These 2 I will put on envelopes. I talked about liking to make foam mail, so these will be great to print on an envelope. This one is that little circle that says no postage stamp necessary if mailed in the United States, and this one is postage will be paid by addressee. And then the third one is just a little tiny clock face, and I thought that might be interesting to print over the top of this ticket. If I stamp the ticket and put a little clock face on there, like there was a time attached to the ticket, just to add more detail. And then the other thing that I purchased recently that wasn't from the flea market is I found a woman on Facebook Marketplace who had collected some printing plates, and she was just going to use them for decor. And I met up with her and purchased a number of them, and I've already used one, and I thought I would show you that. This is what the printing plate looks like. It's kind of hard to see what's going on, but it's an older woman and a younger woman in plaid. So I have made a spread for this seamstress journal for autumn that I'm poking along on. And I've printed that plate and made a journaling card. And homecoming just came to mind for me. So I made this page, I made a little embossed homecoming banner. And then we've got the younger girl who just looks all happy about things. The chaperone, I think, looks a little more stern. I have a Kathy Holden sticker that says Victory Chocolates, because victory is part of your homecoming wishes. And I thought of chocolates as the brown plaids. A little button and a banner there. And it turned out great. It looks like an old newspaper ad to me. Some of my thrifted scrapbook paper I just showed you, just backed it on a brown cardstock. I figured a gel pen could be used, or I could journal and then add the journaling to the back later. And you can see on the page I've done a pocket, a sewn pocket. I like to put my fabric, I like to iron some interfacing on it to make it a little sturdier. So I've ironed that on and then stitched it and then glued it in place. It's not stitched to the page. And I thought of the homecoming corsages that were so big way back when I was in high school, and I think they still are in some high schools, but we used to have giant chrysanthemums with a pipe cleaner, H in the middle of it for our school, and long ribbons that dangled off of it in the school colors. So I found this iron-on patch at the Dollar Tree. I think it's a sunflower, but I just used it as my corsage and added some ribbons, and then a ticket to the football game in the background. So that is my homecoming page that I did with my vintage printing plate. I believe the ones I picked up are from about 1960, mid-1960s. One of them had 1965 on the back. So there's what I've thrifted lately and a little bit about what I've been doing with it. I hope you'll subscribe. And I do want to mention that today I've used the hashtag Thrifty Thursday, which is an open collaboration hosted by Sheree at Turquoise Streaming, and Thrifted Treasures, which is another collab hosted by Dale at Not Too Shabby Chic. I'll put their channels below. I hope you'll check them out and use those hashtags to search YouTube for all the different people that are out there thrifting and making junk journals. I hope you'll subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.